Hi, my name's Chris. Welcome to my studio. Today I'm going to continue with my reproduction of Hilma af Klint's The Dove No.2. The painting itself is finished, but I still need to mount the painting, frame it and prepare it for hanging. So Hilma af Klint's paintings were mounted on board. They were painted on paper and mounted on board. Actually, I think the paper was stuck to the board before the painting started. And I'm going to use a more modern technique, which is to mount the paper painting on a foam core board. This is artist's quality foam core, so we don't need to worry about any damage that the chemicals in the foam core could actually do to the finished painting. The painting itself has had 3 coats of varnish, with one final coat being the matte varnish to give it quite a wonderful glow and sheen. Now the first thing I want to do now is cut the painting down to the paper down to the exact size that I want to mount. So I'm going to do that right now. Now I want to cut the foam core board, the backing board, to the right size, and because my painting is now square and perfectly cut, I can use it to measure the dimensions on the backing board. Now what I want to do is I want to have a tiny little overlap of the painting over the foam core board, just like the 1/16 of an inch or 1/2 millimeter, and that's just to make sure I don't actually have the foam core backing showing in any way later when I mount the painting. Now I'm going to coat the foam core board that I have cut with heavy gel medium. I'm going to use that as a glue. It's a nice thick substance. We can spread it around, give a nice thick layer of it. It's very thick at the moment. I can even spread it with this spatula. Will help me a little bit. Just spread it around the border. Now both the paper and the board are covered in the heavy gloss gel medium. So now we're ready to actually stick the painting onto the board, and the easiest way to do that, I've coated both the paper and the board, remember, is just to drop this board in place on top of the paper. Yeah. Remember, the paper's just a fraction bigger than the board all the way around. We don't have to worry about things like the board showing. So now here we have the painting. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use a brazier to just make sure the painting sticks well to the underlying board. So now we're going to leave the painting overnight to dry. And to do that, I'm just going to put it on this clean paper towel here. I'm absolutely certain nothing's going to stick to the painting while it's upside down. And then I'm going to put a heavy weight on the back. What better than my dirty water bucket? Press the whole thing down flat. So now the painting has been stuck to the foam core board, and I want to do one last thing which is I just want to paint the edges of the board black, so that when optically, when the floating frame is in place, which is what I'm going to do next, you will have this nice little channel all the way around. I can see there's a few little scuff marks that appeared on the painting, so I will attend to those a bit later on with another coat of varnish. Welcome to my little workshop. This is where I make picture frames and prepare paintings for hanging and do other kind of woodworky things. Hilma af Klint's original painting of the dove was framed in simple pine battens, which were nailed to the outer edge of the canvas, and I'm going to try to achieve a similar effect using a floating frame made of pine wood. So I picked up this moulding. This is a corner moulding for sort of interior building work, and I'm going to use that to create the frame around the painting. So first of all I need to make some measurements, and then I'm going to cut this on a circular saw. Now I have chopped down all the pieces of the frame, and I'm ready to start assembling it. I'm going to use, first of all, wood glue to stick it together, and then I have some special, rather complicated clamps which will enable me to perform, make a proper frame shape with the correct angles. So here is the frame stuck in place within the clamp. Fantastic clamp, love it, and everything's set at the right angles, and so now I'm just going to leave it overnight to dry. The glue has taken about 8 hours to dry properly. I left it overnight, and now I've dropped in the painting, and I just wanted to check the spacing around the floating frame to make sure that I've got well, good spacing, good equal spacing, because I'm now going to fix the frame, the painting into the frame. That's the painting firmly affixed in the frame. And now I want to put in the hanging fittings, so I'm going to use these two end pieces, a few little nails to hammer it into the frame, and a wire. This is quite a strong hanging wire. That will be happy to finish with this. I'm going to put the hangers about a quarter of the way up the painting, so that it hangs fairly nicely on a wall. And now we reach the final stage. So I've signed the painting on the back. I've said that it's a reproduction of a painting by Hilma af Klint called The Dove from 1915, and I've signed it myself. And now if we look on the other side, we can see how I've signed the front of the painting. Basically, it just says, after af Klint. Well, here's the finished painting, hanging in the beautiful Swedish autumn twilight.